What if I told you that no person, no event or circumstance could hurt you ever again? That no matter what life throws at you, your peace would remain unshaken? This might sound like an impossible dream, but it's a reality you can create through the wisdom of Carl Jung. Today, we're diving into the transformative teachings of one of the most profound thinkers of the 20th century, showing you how to reclaim your inner power and live a life free from emotional pain. Let's explore Jung's deep insights into the human psyche and learn how to stop letting external forces control your emotional state. Chapter 1. Who was Carl Jung? Carl Gustav Jung, a Swiss psychiatrist and the founder of analytical psychology, revolutionized the way we understand the human mind. He believed that most of our psychological struggles stemmed from an imbalance between the conscious and unconscious aspects of our minds. Jung argued that our conscious awareness, the small part of ourselves we interact with daily, is only a fraction of who we truly are. Beneath this lies the vast unconscious, a realm filled with forgotten memories, repressed emotions, and unresolved fears. According to Jung, the path to emotional freedom lies in integrating these hidden parts of ourselves. By confronting our unconsciousness and understanding it, we unlock a deeper sense of peace and wholeness. This is the core idea behind his message. Nothing outside of us can hurt us if we first make peace with who we are inside. Chapter 2. The Power of the Self. At the heart of Jung's philosophy lies one of his most profound and transformative concepts, the self. More than just an aspect of our personality, the self represents the totality of who we are, our conscious awareness, unconscious motivations, our light and our shadow, the parts we show to the world, and the ones we hide even from ourselves. It transcends the ego, which is merely the surface-level identity we carry through daily life. The self is the integrated whole, the deeper essence of our being. When we lose touch with the self, we begin to feel a deep inner dissonance. This can manifest as anxiety, depression, identity confusion, or a persistent sense of being incomplete. We may feel like something is missing, though we can't quite name what it is. According to Jung, this inner conflict arises from disconnection. When we deny, repress, or ignore parts of ourselves, they don't simply disappear. Instead, they fester in the unconscious, influencing our behavior in unseen ways. Neglecting the self leaves us vulnerable to the whims of external events and the expectations of others. We become reactive, overly sensitive to criticism, dependent on validation, and unsure of our place in the world. Jung's solution was radical yet liberating. Embrace the totality of who you are, including the parts you find uncomfortable, undesirable, or even shameful. By owning all of ourselves, we stop casting shadows onto the world. We become less judgmental, more compassionate, and less disturbed by external chaos. The self, once realized and integrated, becomes a stable center. Like the eye of a storm, it remains undisturbed even as life swirls around it. It becomes a shield, not by blocking pain, but by transforming it. Through the self, we discover a peace that cannot be taken from us, because it arises from within. Chapter 3. The Shadow. Facing your hidden self. One of the most provocative and essential elements in Jung's work is the concept of the shadow. The shadow is the dark, hidden side of our personality, the qualities we reject, deny, or feel ashamed of. It includes not only our fears and weaknesses, but also our unacknowledged strengths, desires, and instincts. These are the parts of ourselves that we were told were bad, selfish, or unacceptable, often in childhood. However, Jung did not view the shadow as evil. On the contrary, he believed that it held incredible transformative power. What we repress does not vanish. It lurks beneath the surface, influencing our behaviors, decisions, and emotional responses in unconscious ways. When left unexamined, the shadow leaks out through projection. We see in others what we cannot see in ourselves. We may accuse others of being selfish, controlling, or arrogant, unaware that these traits exist within us too, unacknowledged and unintegrated. Shadow work is the courageous act of turning inward and confronting what we've long tried to avoid. It means looking honestly at ourselves and recognizing the places where we have judged, feared, or silenced parts of our inner life. This process can be uncomfortable, even painful, but it's also liberating. When we integrate the shadow, we reclaim lost pieces of our identity. We stop being driven by unconscious fears or compulsions. Our emotional reactions become more balanced, less extreme. We no longer overreact because we understand where the reaction's coming from. We become less judgmental, more authentic, and more at peace with ourselves. Owning the shadow is not about becoming perfect. It's about becoming whole. And when we are whole, we stop fearing the world outside us because we've made peace with the world within. Chapter 4, Personal Responsibility, Reclaiming Your Power. Personal responsibility to Jung was not about blame or guilt, it was about empowerment. He recognized that true freedom begins when we stop assigning responsibility for our emotional state to others. Too often, we believe our happiness or peace depends on how others treat us, what they say, or what happens in our lives. This belief places our well-being in the hands of others, leaving us feeling powerless and reactive. But what if we took full ownership of our inner world? What if we acknowledged that while we cannot control everything that happens to us, we can control how we respond? This shift is at the core of Jung's message. It's the difference between living as a victim of circumstances and becoming the author of our own story. Taking responsibility means examining our triggers, our patterns, and our assumptions. It means asking, why did that comment hurt me? Or what belief is causing this reaction? Rather than immediately blaming others. It requires courage, self-reflection, and a willingness to see ourselves clearly. As we take ownership of our thoughts and emotions, we begin to respond to life more consciously. We stop giving others the power to disrupt our inner peace. This is not detachment, it's mastery. Emotional freedom does not come from controlling the world. It comes from mastering our response to it. By reclaiming our power, we return to ourselves. We stop waiting for others to make us feel okay, and instead realize that our peace is already within us, waiting to be acknowledged. Chapter 5, The Power of the Mind. Jung's exploration of the unconscious mind revealed something both profound and practical. Our internal world shapes our external experience. Our beliefs, thoughts, and mental narratives act like filters, coloring everything we perceive. If we believe the world is hostile, we'll see threats everywhere. If we believe we are unworthy, we will interpret kindness as pity or manipulation. But what if we change those internal stories? Imagine approaching life from a mindset of curiosity instead of fear. Imagine seeing setbacks as opportunities for self-discovery or criticism as a mirror for deeper self-awareness. This is not wishful thinking. It's the power of conscious thought. Jung understood that the mind is a creative force. The unconscious not only reflects our past, but also creates the conditions for our future. By bringing unconscious beliefs to the surface and questioning them, we change our inner narrative. And by doing so, we change our lives. When we master our mind, we master our emotional reality. We stop being at the mercy of our thoughts and start using them as tools for growth and healing. The mind becomes not a source of torment, but a sanctuary. Chapter 6, Individuation, Becoming Whole. Individuation is the centerpiece of Jung's psychological framework. It is the process of becoming fully oneself, not an idealized version of the self, but the true self, which includes all aspects of the psyche. Unlike the pursuit of perfection, individuation is a journey of integration. Throughout our lives, we inherit beliefs, roles, and expectations from family, culture, society. These form the persona, the mask we wear to fit in and be accepted. But beneath the persona lies our authentic self, waiting to be seen and heard. Individuation calls us to shed what is false, embrace what is real, and uncover the gold hidden in the darkness of our unconscious. It means confronting childhood wounds, reevaluating our values, and embracing traits we once disowned. It involves 1,000 little deaths, the death of old identities, limiting beliefs, and stories that no longer serve us. The journey's not easy. It's often marked by periods of confusion, solitude, and deep inner work. But it's also immensely rewarding. The more we individuate, the more we feel aligned, alive, and at peace. We begin to act not from habit or fear, but from deep inner knowing. Individuation does not isolate us from others. It actually enhances our relationships because we relate from authenticity, not need. We stop seeking others to complete us because we found completion within. Chapter 7, Acceptance, the key to emotional freedom. Acceptance is often misunderstood as defeat or passivity, but Jung understood that true acceptance is the beginning of transformation. When we resist what is, when we deny, suppress, or fight reality, we create internal tension that manifests as anxiety, frustration, and emotional suffering. It's not reality itself that hurts us most, but our resistance to it. Jung taught that suffering is often the psyche's attempt to reconcile the gap between who we are and who we pretend to be, between what is happening and what we wish would happen. Acceptance bridges this gap by inviting us to face life as it is, with openness rather than judgment. This kind of acceptance is not about giving up. It's about meeting the present moment with clarity and compassion. When we accept ourselves, We stop wasting energy on shame or self-punishment. We stop trying to edit ourselves into perfection. We begin to say, this is who I am, right now, and that is enough. Likewise, when we accept others, we stop trying to control or fix them. We recognize that their path is their own, and our peace is not dependent on their choices. This doesn't mean we tolerate abuse or avoid boundaries. It means we no longer suffer needlessly by trying to change what is beyond our control. Acceptance brings relief. It softens the inner critic and quiets the need for constant self-correction. It allows us to feel at home in our own lives, even when things are messy or uncertain. It grounds us in the present moment, which is the only place peace can truly be found. When we practice acceptance, we begin to notice subtle shifts in our inner world. The same situations that once caused distress lose their grip. We don't react as intensely because we're not fighting ourselves or reality. In this way, acceptance becomes the doorway to emotional freedom. Chapter 8, Vulnerability, the Hidden Strength. Vulnerability is the raw, unguarded truth of who we are. In a culture that rewards strength, control, and invulnerability, showing our true selves can feel risky. But Jung recognized vulnerability as not only necessary, but transformative. When we're vulnerable, we open the door to real connection. We stop hiding behind perfection, status, or intellect, and we show up as we truly are, flawed, complex, human. This openness invites others to do the same. It creates relationships rooted in authenticity rather than performance. Vulnerability also frees us from the prison of fear. We're no longer trying to protect ourselves from being seen. We become unshakable. We no longer fear rejection because we are no longer rejecting ourselves. This is not weakness. It is the deepest kind of strength, to stand in your truth, to speak your heart, to risk being misunderstood and still stay open. That is courage. And it is through this courage that we reclaim our wholeness. So, what does it mean to live a life where no person nor thing can hurt you? It means you've stopped giving your emotional power away. You've taken full responsibility for your thoughts, feelings, and actions. You've embraced your whole self, your light and shadow, and stopped fighting against who you are. You've learned to accept life as it comes, without resistance, and you've understood that true strength lies in vulnerability and acceptance. When you make peace with yourself, when you take responsibility for your inner world, you become immune to the harm others or the world can inflict upon you. Your emotional freedom comes not from controlling the world around you, but from mastering your own mind.